All right, 7:12. The board previously met in closed session under exception C1, C2, C11, and C21. With that, I'd like a roll call.
Mr. McBride, Ms. Fabian,
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez, Mr. Riddle,
Present.
Ms. Hannah,
Yes.
Ms. Lansing,
Present.
President Ewing.
Yes, we do have all board members are present. Ms. Gonzalez is not currently in the boardroom. Mr. McBride is not present this evening. So with that, I'd like a motion to resume open session.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Riddle,
Second.
second by Ms. Lindsay. All in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. We are now in open session. Mr. Sabecki, if you be so kind as to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. My president's report is brief, so I do want to welcome everybody back. I know today was the first day of students. Our teachers returned yesterday. Appreciate the weather operating with us, so we were able to get students to and from school safely. I do want to just hope everybody had a good, if not relaxing, time to be with their families. Also, I know we had a retired teacher that came and talked about, again, we are one of the largest employers in Lake County, one in the city of Waukegan, and we have a very long history of staff members. And so we don't always know those who have passed. We don't always get that information. But I do want to respect that request and just take a brief moment to acknowledge all of those who may no longer be with us. Thank you. I also want to say that the board members had a fun time, and although we may not have seen each other too much during the holiday season, a few board members, some representing the Waukegan Schools Foundation, myself representing BCU, were able to participate in the 25th annual, or 25th annual Polar Bear Plunge. And so that was a good time, and it was great to see individuals out. I know Miss Fabian is rocking her Polar Bear Plunge shirt.
Nice
So,
silver,
yes.
25 years.
Always great to see. And then really, I'm just excited about this next semester. So I know I want to appreciate my son's school. They did a really good job of reacclimating the students to the classroom environment. While we may not think 2 weeks is a long time, it is. And so to have them back to talk over expectations, and now they're ready to go with second semester, I think it's important that we take the time in order to do those things and rebuild that community. Also wanted to very briefly just shout out the Waukegan Warren game. It was amazing to see the dog pound full and the community coming out in order to support our young men, and we want to see that more often, right? And so I really did appreciate the opportunity. Although we didn't have the outcome that I would have liked, I will say that our Bulldogs have heart. They're young, they're scrappy, and they will be a team to be reckoned with. So I'm excited to all of those who made that possible, and we did it in a safe and secure way, which shows that we can and we will, and that's the expectation, right? So I appreciate all those who helped to make that possible, and all of those community members and others who also helped to bring awareness in the community. With that, I'd like to turn over to our student board member who has prepared a report.
Thank you, Mr. President. And unfortunately, my presentation is not going to be short. Well, I'm going to try my best to speed through it, but it is, new year, new me. I changed up the presentation to make it for the new year more orange, a little darker colors, but I like the design so far. Let's see if we stick through it through the year. But yes, this is my 18th student board member report. Next slide, please. Yes, today my statement topic is going to be resolutions. Next slide, please. My statement, or quote, I should say, is every year you make a resolution to change yourself. This year, make a resolution to be yourself. And this is an unknown statement. I couldn't really find someone that I could quote this to, but let's roll back a second and say what a resolution is. Usually we do resolutions at the end of the year to say, oh, we're going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, right? I'm going to do something better about myself. But we always try to put stuff newer about ourselves, but never think about, maybe I am enough. Maybe what I'm doing right now is good enough, right? And being yourself is as important as changing and going forward in different items, right? And knowing yourself is as important as making change on top of that, right? And for everybody here at the board, public, students that are watching, maybe your resolution this year, maybe you're saying, oh, I'm gonna like maybe run a mile every day, or I'm gonna read an extra book, or I'm gonna drink more water, right? We usually say those things as a resolution. But for me, I think my resolution, and for people that think inspired out of this, maybe being yourself and really truly loving who you are as a person is important. So that's my statement for today. Next slide, please. So today is, again, not going to be about meetings. Y'all could clap, so you don't have to hear about my meetings again. But this is going to be talking about 2023 and review the accomplishments that I've worked with the board and administration to get through during my term, right? So as we have here, the accomplishments we had so far is the anti-book banning proclamation, the soon-to-be Superintendent Student Advisory Commission, the revision of Washington Study Policy, Policy 2005, the 5-5 rule at Brookside, and assistance with the food provider selection. So everybody here knows I have seen throughout my term all these projects. I am super proud of every single thing on here. I am proud of working with the Board of Education, with students, and with administration at Washington at Brookside to bring forward these very needed student changes, right? The anti-book banning proclamation is something I'm very proud of, and the first thing that I did on this board. Policy 20005, student board member bringing more power and solidification to this position itself. Superintendent's Commission, we're very happy to start working with the superintendent and getting that student voice more than myself and bringing more students on board to this. The 5-5 rule at Brookside, where we brought students in from all around the school to really rechange or redesign the 10-10 rule to something that's more equitable. The revision of Washington Study Policy, because obviously the students didn't like it that much when it came out, but I did talk to administration and kinked out some rules that weren't very much explicitly mentioned during that time. And obviously the assistance with the food provider and, you know, tasting out the food and stuff like that and bringing some of my friends to figure that out. Still, students still do like it. Better than the last provider, that's what they tell me. So I say that as a win for the district. Next slide, please. Is 2024, I should have said 2024 in that. What's ahead? Now, there's still about 6 months in this term. And there's a lot that I still want to get done. And these are some of the things that I want to get done, right? Now, this is a lot, but I think it is possible to get a good amount of this going forward. So one of them is the Student Bill of Rights, the continuation of Project Bulldog, which we're working extensively as I'm now going forward with that project. Anti-racist policy, we're working with Ms. Lensing and the Equity Department to really get that forward and setting up meetings for that. Policy 2533 and Policy 5201, which is curriculum and library book selection. Those two are more specific to solidify and codify the book banning, the anti-book banning proclamation into policy and stuff like that, and going more step further into that. And a district-wide tutoring program, because I was thinking we don't really have that much really in this district where it comes to tutoring, or at least peer tutoring itself. We do have something at Brookside that has been going on, but I would really like it to get pushed out as a district-wide project for our students to really learn how tutoring works if they want to go into the educator route and, you know, really get that one-on-one experience on that. Next slide, please. Is contact. This is for the students and anybody here in this boardroom who really get into contact with me, because I really do want to get this year and work towards getting more into contact with students, public, and the board, obviously, to get more connections and building up all this new ideas that I have for students. Next slide, please. Here are some ways to get into contact with me. Emails at top, 25_HV72828 at this60.net. Instagram for the student board member, which I hope the next student board members use, at SBM_WPS60. What can I do for you is check my Instagram bio, which is on that. Let's have a conversation before and after the board meeting. If you want to talk to me, have any ideas, comments, concerns, always let me know. And for students in person, just stop me in the hallways. If you see me, just stop me. We can have a conversation. Exchange numbers and continue that in any way possible going forward. Next slide, please. And that's pretty much my presentation. Went quicker than I expected. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
I have a comment.
You first then, Ms. Gonzalez.
I just want to say that I'm so proud of you, Victor, because you got through a lot of information very concisely, very eloquently, and I feel like you are growing so much as a leader, and you should be proud of that. And your friends should be proud of that too if they're on your same wavelength, okay?
Thank you so much.
Great. Second that, Victor. Good job.
And that's why I just did want to take a moment to, when we talk about, I always say it's my quote. I know you guys will get tired of it, but everybody wants young people involved in politics until young people actually get involved in politics. And what makes me super happy to have you on this board is when you talk about those accomplishments. You haven't gotten everything done that you've wanted to get done. You've lost some battles, but that didn't stop you from fighting, and it didn't discourage you. I think this has been part of a really good learning experience, and so I'm impressed just to see what all that you've done, and I hope you have appreciated that reflection as well on everything that you've done. So super proud of you, like the rest of the board has said, and happy for the way that you've represented. So thank you, sir. We have our spotlight on 60.
The JAMS program we started about 7 years ago. It's an amazing program for the elementary schools. Program stands for Joining Active-Minded Students. And the goal was to really just encourage kids to get active on the field, on the court, in their minds, with their friends and peers, and in school. We serve about 2,000 kids. We do co-ed basketball, outdoor soccer, we do indoor soccer, and we also do flag football. JAMS is housed at all 15 elementary buildings. And what we've seen over the years is that kids are more likely to try out in the middle school sports when they've been exposed to it in the earlier years.
This is an opportunity for them to represent their school, and it gives them a sense of pride. So it's definitely something special that you can't really get outside of the public school district, you know? They have to do good in class, they have to do good behavior-wise in order to play basketball, and I feel like it helps a lot of kids out. It's grown a lot in the past 7 years in a positive way, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do.
I started playing basketball in 6th grade. These kids are already like ahead of me in terms of like learning the skills. It's amazing that they get to play the game that I love with their friends.
For the community of Waukegan, it's a great opportunity, as you can see, for the parents to come out and support their children. It's great for the children to be introduced to the program, but to see the support and love, not only just because of the game, but because those who come and root them on.
A lot of them is their first time playing ball, so we got to work with the kids so they can have fun.
I can give back to the kids, show them the ropes as they coming up, and also to give back to the community. We might have to adjust our play calling to their level play to keep a flow in the game.
It's co-ed. I love that the coaches don't show favoritism over girls or boys. As you can see, they make sure all the players get involved. They try to sub every few minutes or so to make sure everybody gets their time to shine, because everybody's parents come out, as you can see.
I got my son out here playing. He goes to Glenwood Elementary, and he got a doubleheader tonight. I think this league is amazing. I'm just a fan of sports, period. It teaches these kids to be friends. It teaches them camaraderie. So I'm a big fan of the JAMS program, and shout out to the JAMS program for doing what y'all doing, man.
I play point guard, shooting guard, small forward. So I'm gonna just go out there and kill, pass that ball, hopefully my teammates nick it, and just get this dub.
You see the excitement, you see the energy, you have schools that bring in their little cheerleading squads.
I'm one of the 3 cheer coaches for HR McCall. I really love being one of the cheer coaches. It's so much fun to cheer on our basketball players.
One of the main exciting things about this program is that the kids are introduced to each other prior to getting to middle school, where they kind of divide up into 5 different areas. So they get to know each other from different buildings, and that really helps the energy and the peace inside the buildings when they come to the upper levels. So the goal possibly in the future would just be to expand the program where we can go to other cities and expose our kids to the different cities. And also really just partnering with the community to assign mentors to each sport. And what these mentors would do is they would provide life skills training to our students so that they can navigate the times that we live in right now.
All right.
Mr. Gonzalez, do you want to come up and say a few words? I'd be remiss. We started this program 7 years ago, and if anyone knows me, knows that I'm really big on sports. And my son has partaken in jams throughout his whole time here in Waukegan. Mr. Gonzalez does a great job with this program, but I would also say that this program would not be in existence without the backing and support and the pushing from Mr. McBride on how we could really create a feeder program here in our district. And we are seeing the fruits of this program in our middle school and including in our high school as we continue with it. So on that note, Mr. Gonzalez, great job.
First, I just want to, say thank you to the board, Ms. Felicia, and the community for always supporting my ideas. I'm an idea guy, so I come up with an idea and I start bugging people until I get what I want.
That's right.
And usually it kind of works.
All right.
The proof is in the pudding, as you see in the video, and this is just one of my 4 programs that I run.
Could you tell us about the other ones?
Other programs? Well, right now I have the STARS program. That program is funded by the 21st Century Community Learning Center grant. That's actually Rita Tate's baby. Rita wrote that grant probably about 20 years ago, and I worked under her for probably about 4 years, and that grant has been around. It's the largest funding, after-school funding source in the country, still to this day. And we got 4 buildings, Jack Benny, Clearview, Carmen, and Lyon. About 360 kids there. I don't know why I'm a little nervous. I never get nervous. It's a little different over here. So anyways, so that program, we have about 360 kids. We do dance, drumming, we have graphic design, we take the kids on trips, they have academic tutoring support after school. We have a loving, supportive staff that's there every day. Actually, if I could toot my horn a little bit, the state is actually recognizing our STARS program in Waukegan as one of the pillar programs across the state. Where we are one of the few programs that went to a Tier 3 monitoring. And a Tier 3 monitoring was like a 7-hour monitoring process where they comb through everything. It's actually, I've been directing programs for 24 years and I've never been anything like it, and yeah, when they got through that thing, they was like, you guys got it going on over here. So that's the STARS, and then I just started a new program called New Directions on Saturday. New Direction is a boys mentorship program for 4th through 8th grade. We're at Washington Brookside campus every Saturday. This program, we have 60 kids in it right now. We've only been going for about 8 weeks. This new program, you know how you get a new program, it's kind of like a new baby. I got a new baby. I love this program because you have single parents coming, bringing their boys to this program, wanting that mentorship. Literally, I've literally had some mothers in tears. Like, I cannot believe that you guys have this every Saturday for these kids. So we're there every Saturday. We got chess club. We have different sports. We have we take them on trips. It's very similar to the STARS model, but it's a little more focused on that, and we're honing in on reading. So the reading program, 1 hour every Saturday, they get additional reading support. Wow. We're giving them books. We're really, to get all the good stuff, you got to come to the reading. And the kids they love it. They're eating it up. So we're looking to expand that to do more things and really just love on these kids. That's what I've done for 24 years. People that know me, many of you know me on the board, that's just what I do. I try to keep my head down and do the job. Sometimes I have to put my head up and
that's right.
But yes, ma'am.
Suggested Saturday Club. I did Saturday.
I know at Webster for a lot of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so one thing that really worked with the kids, right? Do report card Saturday.
Okay.
Progress report Saturday. They got to bring it into you and explain if they got anything a C and under. They got to explain.
Okay. So again, that's a great idea, and I would love to have you come on and hang out with us on a Saturday sometime.
I will.
So one of the things we want to do with that program is we have assigned mentors to these boys. So the facilitators that work the program, the next phase of hopefully if we can, continue funding and do more things. Right now it's currently grant funded, so it's not costing the district anything. It's all funded through grants. Would be to assign mentors that go into the buildings and follow up with the boys after the Saturday. So you know what? Just pop in and have lunch with them. Build relationship with their parents. Just those next step things. If you're gonna build relationship with kids, it can't be surface.
That's right.
You gotta roll up your sleeves and get a little work done. So.
So, oh,
We'll go down the line. So Ms. Fabian and then Ms. Lindsay.
when you originally posted the Saturday school, there was no sign up. Is there still not a sign up? Are you accepting more kids? Because I heard you're up to 60 now. So is there capacity for more, or?
There is. We're going to take up to 125 kids.
Okay. And families don't have to register? They can just come in on Saturday, or do they need to contact
They can just come
you?
in on a Saturday through 4th through 8th grade, and we'll have them do the registration right there on site. We're trying to, grow this thing slowly. It's a new concept. But it's really, we really have the Waukegan Brookside campus as a community center. So the possibilities are endless as far as what we can do with these kids. And they're coming, they're buying into it. So I'm just excited to see what happens.
I'm super proud because looking at the video, I know where you started, and these kids now have T-shirts with their names on the back, like little actual jerseys and uniforms. So from working with you from when you started to now, I'm really proud of all the work that you've done, number one. And two, for the 21st Century Grant, we all know the state kind of messed up a little bit, overspent. So you guys were on the ball and spent before they could. So I'm also proud that you guys were able to fund the grant and make sure that everything was done correctly, because when those things happen, the likelihood of getting more grants or being recognized for more grants is even higher. So
They're already kind of hinting if, once they have more funding that, we'll be getting some more money.
Yep. So so thank you for all that you do. I've always loved the work that you do. So thank you again.
Thanks.
Ms. Lindsay, go ahead.
Thank you for bringing attention to Miss Tate's grant for the past 20 years. I would be remiss if I did not say, yes, Miss Tate, you are the OG Waukegan Stars. The work speaks for itself, right? The kids are visibly happy. They keep coming back to the programs. It's amazing. One of my favorite pieces that you said was also building relationships with the parents, because if we can build strong relationships with our parents, then they're going to be helping advocate for the students and helping at home say, let's try to adjust some of our perspectives and give it a better attitude about things. For your Saturday school, can you, if the board wanted to visit, can you just refresh again what times?
We are running from 12 to 4.
12 to 4, okay,
Yep.
thank you.
So the kids come, they get lunch. It's a full-fledged day, and you would think 4 hours is a long time, but
it's not.
They don't want to leave.
And that's wonderful. That's
yes,
so
ma'am.
wonderful.
At Brookside, you say?
Yes.
Yeah, Brookside campus.
Brookside, okay.
Yeah, so all I want to say is thank you. I know when the JAMS program, one of the a pillar, a goal, whatever you want to call it, when I first met the superintendent and was a new board member, was how do you get, we know that our students need extended day, and we know that our students need extended year. And while that may not be feasible in Waukegan right now, this is how we're getting there, by opening our schools up on Saturday, by making sure that those gyms are full in the evenings and on weekends, by making sure that those students have access to coaches, that they're burning off some of that energy, and we are creating that feeder program, and we're starting to see the fruits of that labor. So I want to publicly acknowledge that work. And also thank you for your contributions to Waukegan. And like I said, I'm excited to see the program expand, excited to see more community partnerships. But kudos.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Got you. So we are now at approval of minutes. So we have item 8A, approval of the minutes of the open session board meeting November 28th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Riddle.
Second.
Second by, was that Ms. Fabian?
Fabian, yeah.
Ms. Fabian. Any comments, questions, corrections to the minutes
Just the grammar edits that I sent
that you
over.
submitted? So
Yeah,
there were just some
minor.
technical grammatical edits submitted by Ms. Gonzalez. With that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Minutes are approved. Approval of the minutes of the open session meeting December 12th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Motion, Mr. Riddle. Second by Ms. Gonzalez. Any comments, questions?
The grammar edits.
Grammar edits that were submitted. All in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Minutes are approved. And item 8C, approval of the minutes of the special open session board meeting for December 19th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Riddle, second by Ms. Gonzalez. Any comments, questions, corrections to the minutes?
Just the, I think that one was the name correction and
Yeah.
then the grammar edit.
So, as edited by Ms. Gonzalez.
All in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Minutes are approved. All right, so we do have our consent agenda. Any of these items can be held over for any reason. Public comment, I'm sorry, I apologize. We have 3 names on the public comment sheet. As a reminder, each member or each person in the public gets 3 minutes. When I call your name, please come up to the podium. We ask that you refrain from mentioning student and staff member names in your remarks. If you need translation services will be provided to you, and you will get 6 minutes. In order, we have Brother Blanks, Randy Sabecki, and Rayon Edwards.
Brother Blanks, Black Abolition Movement for the Mind. Hopefully everybody's starting off with a good new year. You often hear me come to this mic, and many times you've heard me say that whether it's a student, whether they black, brown, or white, you want our students to do great things. You teach and inspire them to greatness from which they came, and their history, their culture, and their heritage. I would like to say, first and foremost, to extend my thanks in contributing to that. I want to extend my thanks to Carmen Buckner High School, Mr. Silver, Ms. Lichtenstein, and I know we're not supposed to be mentioning names, but I think it's appropriate at this moment. Also, I would have to also say, and a thanks to Mr. Mike Gonzalez for their contribution to our successful Kwanzaa program that we had at Carmen Buckner. So, you know, in between all the adult issues that goes on, I've made myself and come to the conclusion, what will we be able to do as an organization to contribute to be more a part of the solutions in the best interest of the students in 2024, moving forward. So to be able to kick it off, to close the year out with that Kwanzaa program, and to see what else we will be able to do. We also, thanks to Senator Agent Johnson, we've had the courtesy of being able to acquire a grant. So as before, when I was working in the district with the students where I was looking for funding and support, I want to see how we can extend that type of money to put it back to where it best needs to go and towards our students. There are still many issues that needs to be solved in our district when it comes to fairness and equity, but my primary concern above the adult issues who could stand to this mic and speak for themselves is to see what we can do to contribute to the best interests of our students. That has always been my primary focus, and that will always be my focus. I was once started out as a part of the STARS program in writing and literacy through poetry. I was one of the first programs that I was a part of here. So I look forward to see what we can continue to do on the behalf of these students, and to basically say, once again, I thank Carmen Buckner. I was going to try to do it at the high school, but I think the ancestors in the Most High had it where it needed to be, right there in the good of the neighborhood, in the first ward, where these students had access who could not maybe walk there. And in spite of the fact that it was right after Christmas, I think the success of it was done in the measures that it was really good. And everybody got a lot out of it, and I look to continue to see what we can do in the best interest of the students. Thank you.
Thank you. Randy Sabecki. And please bear with me, I'm losing my voice.
All right, first I'd like to say Friday night, that was a
good game at the dog pound. It was good to see that gym packed. Not like it used to be, we're standing room only, but we're getting there. But I like to see that more, thanks to a lot of the administrators that showed up for the kids. But we also need to do that for the rest of our sports. Not just basketball, not just football, for the rest of our sports. We need to show the students and support them in whatever sport and event that they decide to do. And of course, education and the curriculum and the classwork should always come first before sports. Second thing I want to address, so I wasn't going to speak tonight, but then I got an email today from the high school. And I'm going to read it. It says, any student that has an early release second semester must report to door 1 to check out with the attendance secretaries each day until early release stickers are available. Please do not go to the main office. And then bold print, you must have your ID, not a temp to leave. If you do not have an ID, you must report to the library during 9th period. So I have a couple questions about this policy. One is never brought up at a board meeting, so now we can just make our own policies and implement them when we want. Because my question about this policy is, so now we're going to have long lines to exit the buildings, students, and this is pertaining to seniors. A lot of our seniors are 18 years old. You can't legally tell them they can't leave the building. If they want to leave the building, they can leave the building. They can call themselves into school. You can't hold them against their will, and it says they must have their ID or they can't leave the building. If staff members don't have their IDs, do you guys lock them in the building until 4 o'clock, until the end of the day? I think not. So that needs to be looked at. We have a lot of emails going out from especially the high schools that's concerning, just the way that they address adults, parents, and everything, saying that, I got one before Thanksgiving from Brookside campus stating that the students, need to be in school every day unless they're really sick. As a parent, I make that decision. If my kids are sick, I make that decision if they stay home. That, just the way that some of these staff members put out these emails and talk to parents is ridiculous. And then you wonder why there's animosity between the school, the parents, and everybody else. Because that's how parents are treated. And it needs to be looked into. I want to congratulate you on the STARS program and that, because it's about the kids. And we need them out there doing extra things, giving these kids something to do in the community. And I'm glad to see that program. Thank you.
Rayon Edwards.
Good evening, board, president, superintendent, board members, community, staff. Happy New Year to you all. Hope you had a wonderful break, vacation with your family. I'm not gonna say no names because I don't like to, put my business out there, right, when I'm doing my work. But I want to thank all of them that contributed to my Christmas event. We was able to service 367 kids. Each kid walked away with 3 gifts and 2 stuffed animals. They all got a stocking. They all got to make a cookie, and we had a whole lot of walking tacos and pizza. The one thing that I hope we can go into 2024 in doing is stop picking and choosing what events we show up and support when it relates to the kids. I'm okay with you not liking me. Most of my life, people didn't like me. But don't use me as an excuse not to support the kids, because some of you board members said to me that y'all will show up at these events as long as you have prior notification. And I do remember giving everybody a flyer here. And I gave you all more than enough notification. And I was disappointed. I was. But that was subtracted because I had some staff show up that normally don't come out, some of my black ladies, and I was impressed and I was pleased and I was grateful. Mr. Gonzalez is what we talk about when we say doing the work. So Ms. Pacencia, I'm going to give you that. You did an exceptional job by backing him, and I ask that you keep doing that. And when we talk about mentorship, that's what it looked like. Because Mr. Gonzalez don't just come outside when there's cameras and lights. He's there when he's needed to be. He don't just show up to be popular. He's really talking to the parents. He's going to these homes. He's meeting with them. He's doing the work. You hear me? He's doing the work. That's what it looks like. That's what I talk about all the time. You can't do it in the office at a desk. You can't do it when there's cameras and lights. That don't work. It really don't. And so what I'm saying to you, all of y'all is, we don't come up here to fight, but it sucks when we can't come up here and speak and be free at what we're saying, right? You don't have to like it, but you guys are elected officials. And so what I'm saying is this: get these teachers their contract. Get them what they deserve. There was a thing mentioned on the PA system at the high school that is saying to the staff members they get an incentive for coming to help be security in the child halls when it's needed. We're not paying those staff no incentives. They're getting a check. That's their job, to come and assist. That's what teamwork looks like. So I want to see when those bell rings, everybody should be out their seats and out their desks and standing in those hallways. You teach from bell to bell. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards.
They did an exception.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. This concludes our public comment, so we appreciate all those who come up. I did have a community member who did let me know that although there was an instruction given that individuals will be followed up with, that they did not receive any follow-up. So I do want to make sure I'll pass that information to the superintendent and Ms. Vanderbroek, and I do want to make sure that that process and procedure is put into place. Next up, we have our consent agenda. These items have been placed on the agenda. They haven't really been previously discussed. Some of them have, right, because we did have a student achievement meeting. So I take that back. But would any board member like to have any of these items voted on separately? All I need is the letter.
So on I had submitted a question, and prior to getting here, I got a response that this was going to be held.
So we got a response. So are we wanting to hold superintendent item I? I know Mr. Alexakis had to leave, but yes. So item I is being held. Are there any other letters that you all would like to vote on separately? All right, motion to approve items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and J.
I motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Gonzalez,
Second.
second by Ms. Lindsay. Any comments or questions on the motion?
I just have one more comment regarding these CTE courses, especially the future educators. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see this become a piece. I don't have any questions, just that I love it, and I just wanted to express again. Yeah, well, I mean, but I'm excited for the opportunity because I would love to see some of these students come back and do what I wasn't able to do and help give back to Waukegan. So I just love it.
Ms. Fabian.
And then I just have a comment on the NABE conference, the Association for Bilingual Education. It's a great conference. What I would like to see in the future is I do see that we have that one pager presentation, but it doesn't show what staff members are going. And in full transparency, I think the public needs to see that, especially when we keep saying that we're wanting to send more teachers, more of those frontline staff to conferences, and this conference does include teachers going. So I think we need to highlight those opportunities and showcase that, number one. But also, I think when we do look at those forms, we're looking at how many times people are out for professional development, because we want to make sure that we're spreading that professional development and giving everybody a fair opportunity so that somebody isn't going 5 times, you know, and taking up all those resources versus somebody that can't go. In addition to looking at the dates, our teachers are submitting these, and it looks like the dates were in November, but they're not being put up to here. And the only reason is because there's a checkbox that says, is there a sub needed? Knowing that there's a sub shortage, the quicker that we can get these approved to ensure that they have a substitute in place for the day that they're leaving, the better. I know this one's not until April, so March or end of March, right? I was planning to go, but I didn't. But yeah, but knowing that this is at the end of March is fine, but in the future, I'm looking at some of these where the requests are made 2 months ago and just now being brought to the board. And just for efficiency, and especially when we need subs, we would like to have that, process as soon as possible.
Thank you for that.
Noted.
All right, roll call.
Ms. Fabian.
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Mr. Riddle.
Yes.
Ms. Hannah.
Yes.
Ms. Lindsay.
Yes.
President Ewing.
Yes, items approved, motion carries. Item 10A, renewal of the Quadient contract. B, approval or renewal of partner contract with NEIU for year 5 of the EIR grant. C, approval renewal of partner contract with Lake County Road for year 5 of the EIR grant. D, approval of Dr. Rachel Adler contract for year 5 of the EIR grant. E, AASA conference, Nelson Campos, Juarez Middle School. F, National Association for Bilingual Education conference. G, attendance of the National Art Education Association annual conference. H, new WH course CTE Advanced Placement Photography. And J, new WH course CTE Future Educators. We are bringing back just to make sure that the item reads correctly for transparency purposes. Item 11A is under the consent agenda. It's only one item, the approval of the purchase of the 65 passenger yellow school bus. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Gonzalez, second by Mr. Riddle. Any comments or questions on the motion?
I didn't
Oh, Ms. Fabian.
Ms.
Sorry.
Fabian.
Ms. Fabian is the first, Mr. Riddle is the second. Comments or questions on the motion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Fabian.
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Mr. Riddle.
Yes.
Ms. Hannah.
No.
Ms. Lindsay.
Yes.
President Ewing.
Yes, item approved, motion carries. We have 13A, attendance at NSBA 2024 Annual Conference and Exposition.
It is the recommendation that the Board of Education approve the attendance of board members Jeff McBride and Carolina Fabian at 2024 National School Board Association Conference in New Orleans from April 5th to April 8th, 2024. The estimated cost per person for attendance is $2,750, which includes conference registration, lodging, travel, and per diem. Total estimated cost for two is $5,500.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Riddle,
Second.
second by Ms. Fabian. Any comments or questions on the motion?
Yeah, I have a question, and this is for this agenda item as well as agenda item B. I had a conversation with our with the State Board of Education yesterday, and I was calling because I was asking about the Advocacy Institute, but in asking about that one particular event, I found out that the our state affiliation has no affiliation with the National School Board Association. We pulled out of the national, and therefore we get there's no board member benefits, and we're paying more money because we're not in membership with the national, and so I am I don't know, and they were not too I don't know what the issues are that the National School Board Association and COSBO. Our affiliation is with COSBO. That's where we get all of our leadership points, everything. And the NSBA kind of is just something that they're doing, but it's no benefit to us, and there's no affiliation. And so I just want to make that known, and that came directly from the IASB. And so I don't think that we should be attending anything with the NSBA. But that's just me. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, for clarity's sake.
Why you got to?
Because I can have an opinion, Miss Hannah.
Yeah, it is an opinion.
Just like yours.
Facts is facts. Though.
So there are two national organizations, COSBA, NSBA. There was only one till about 2021. Illinois is a member of COSBA. We are also, Waukegan Public Schools, a member of CUBE, the Council of Urban Boards of Education.
Yes.
CUBE is a NSBA program. If you are a member of CUBE, you are also eligible for the national conference. So Ms. Hannah is 100% correct. There are two organizations. Illinois, as a state, is a member of COSBA, but we, as Waukegan Public Schools, are also a member of NSBA through our affiliation with CUBE. That's a fact. So when we talk about facts, now, if members want to go, don't want to go, Ms. Hannah is 100% correct. You do not get credit towards your leadership points, right, if you go to NSBA. That's a fact. But to say that there's no value, I don't necessarily know. I do think it's a valid question to raise, is if Illinois is not a member of NSBA, do you all want to go? But I just had to set it. It wasn't some rogue conference. It was the national organization. It wasn't the national. It's still the national organization. So I just wanted to make that clear. It's a National School Board Association conference. They've been doing this for years. There was a situation in which Illinois decided to move, and there are roughly 25 states that are a member.
No,
now
actually,
30.
30 states.
So 30 states are now a part of COSBA, and the other states, 20 of them are a part of NSBA. So obviously there's still a split and division. So go ahead, Ms. Fabian.
And actually, I was going to thank Ms. Hannah for bringing up the one coming up for the advisory, because I didn't know about it. And so I started looking into it. And I do think there's value in it, because I think we as a board should stay abreast as to what legislation is coming down, what everybody is actually kind of polling for, what we're advocating for, because all of those mandates we know end up being tied to funds or end up being expenditures on our behalf. So when I was looking at it and looking at really getting into how it affects us, because doesn't matter what organization puts on the conference, any legislation that's federal law affects all of us. So I just think it's beneficial for us to know what's coming down or what's brewing in the pipeline.
And just for clarification, Ms. Fabian, the COSBO had their Advocacy Institute in September, and we did get notification. I looked back on the emails, and we did get notification of the Advocacy Institute from our association.
And I think maybe there's some confusion, because I know I haven't been getting anything from them, and so I wasn't even aware until you just said that's where we were.
Look back
we
in,
were in.
look
So
back
I
in
will.
July.
I will see if I can add myself to their mailing list.
Yeah, so at this point, it's a choice. So, I mean, Ms. McBride is not here, but Ms. Fabian, would you still like to participate and attend?
I want to learn more about that advocacy.
Or not the advocacy, we're at item 13A, attendance at the NSBA 2024 AO conference.
Yes.
Right. So, Board President, I just want to clarify again, or just make sure that I understand correctly. So the points that one earns by attending the conference will not be given because this is right. I understand that, but the value is the information that you're getting from the seminars at this national board conference, and that's really why we go. The main reason going is to get information, not to earn points. Right? That's the reason I go.
Yeah, that's for the board to consider. It's a valid point for us to consider, and Ms. Hannah is right to bring it up, and that Illinois as a state is no longer associated with the NSBA.
Right.
However, CUBE was the reason that they advocated, right? We, as board, said, hey, you can't take away CUBE. I will say, look into COSBA. They now have an urban council. They now are trying to replicate a lot of things with NSBA, but we've been members for years, so that's why we've been familiar. So being that there's a first and a second, neither person wants to withdraw. Miss Lindsay, I'm sorry.
Oh, and Miss Gonzalez as well had her hand.
That way, because I saw you first.
Yeah.
Ms. Gonzalez.
Okay. So in our board policy, one of the components is disseminating information. And so in this instance, we have 2 board members going, not the full board. And I know whenever I go to conferences or receive professional development in this capacity, I report out either through this venue, and I will send information to specific individuals that I feel is really pertinent to their department. So what is the expectation, or what can we anticipate for both of our board members coming back and disseminating what they learned from each of these conferences?
I can speak for Mr. McBride. Typically the same way during board member report, if there's something that he brought value with, he is a paper person, as we all know. So any brochures that he picks up gets dropped off normally with the superintendent. But yeah, so that's normally how he does it. Ms. Fabian can speak for herself as far as how she'll like to communicate.
Same, usually when I get any information that's pertinent to a specific staff member, I tend to send it out. Any references, like, you know, sometimes we get the speaker cards and the books and stuff like that. I tend to send them to admin that could use it. And I am more than happy to share out publicly too. If that's something that the board's interested in.
Ms. Gonzalez.
I just wanted to share that the more we talk about our attendance at conferences, which I do find value in and I think is important for our community, the more that I lean toward just saying that we should attend Illinois conferences for our school board members. I think the most valuable conference that I've attended has been Triple I, and I know that Cube is awesome, and it is fun. That's part of the role. You learn and then you have fun. But I maybe this year my resolution is to pass on board members going on conferences, because I want to model do as I do, not do what I say, you know.
All right, roll call vote.
Ms. Fabian.
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez.
Pass.
Mr. Riddle.
I think I'll pass as well.
Ms. Hannah.
No.
Ms. Lansing.
I'm going to pass.
President Ewing.
Yes, motion is defeated. Item not approved. Item 13B, attendance at NSBA Advocacy Institute 2024.
It is the recommendation that the Board of Education approve the attendance of student board member Victor Hinojosa, Associate Superintendent Ms. Gwen Polk, and board member Ms. Carolina Fabian at the 2024 National School Board Association Advocacy Institute for the dates of January 27th through the 31st in Washington, D.C. at an estimated cost of $2,700 per person for a total of $8,100. Cost includes conference registration, lodging, per diem, and flights. Mr. Hinojosa attendance is contingent upon a parent guardian completing necessary permission forms, as well as a qualified staff member accompanying him as a chaperone in accordance with district policy.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Riddle.
Second.
Second by Ms. Gonzalez. Any comments or questions on the motion?
I
Y'all had to
have a
make it
question
hard.
on. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was like, y'all had to make it hard with this one, Miss Fabian.
Go ahead. Leslie.
I do like this, that this one is around policies, and we do need to keep abreast around this. And I think that along with the many articles and research out there regarding student involvement, especially where it comes to student board members, we need to essentially put our money where our mouth is and actually give them the voice, give them development, as well as prepare them for the role that they're doing within our district. My question is, because I tried asking, because of the NSBA situation, I tried contacting them to see if student board members are allowed to, because they had some restrictions, but not, there wasn't any language around student board members. So has the district or the administration gotten that verified that student board members can go? I'm in support of it. I just want to make sure that that's been addressed and is feasible.
And if I may, and the Advocacy Institute is not like a normal conference. You are not going to be going to different classes. That's not what this is. It is simply around, you have training for advocacy and how to do it, what to do, and then that's basically all. But the other thing is that you are in and out of federal buildings, and that was a concern of mine when it came to our student board member because of the security that they're going to have to constantly be going through when they're going in a federal building. And I too tried to find out if student board members, because through my experience in attending the Advocacy Institute, that there were no students present. Now, whether that has changed or not, I don't know, but I think hopefully, as Ms. Lindsay said, someone has checked to make sure that it is okay that he attends.
So Mr. Alajakis has been working on this. However, he did have a family emergency this evening and that he had to tend to. So I cannot give you that answer right now. But I do know that he has looked into that.
But if we don't know, why would we be voting on it if there's unanswered questions? Because, I mean, it's a good training for Mr. Hinojosa, seeing how he's into the politics and all of that. And but if he gets to Washington D.C. and then can't be a part of it, then it's going to hurt him more than help him. And so we need to know, if he is going to be able to.
Can she do a vote contingent upon any?
Yeah. Are we able to modify the language to say contingent upon the rules of the association's attendance policy? Because again, he is an advocate for all of our students in this district. He has to be able to do that appropriately. And I'm excited, while student board members may not have gone to this type of conference in the past, we are seeing that even in our own district, there have been changes and evolutions to what the student board member role is. And I like to see that progression go forward. So if we can adjust the language, that way we can still address it tonight, get that confirmation, and if it's a go, we can keep it moving.
And then I just wanted to add, I think we also need to be the leaders and the innovators in that and giving that student voice. So if he's eligible to go, of course, I think we're all on board because we should be seen as giving students their own voice where they can advocate for themselves. You all know my feelings on this because I had the two conferences backwards. So again, thank you to Ms. Hannah for bringing this up. And I just think we really need to be paying attention to what's coming down just so that we can plan better.
And also there is going to be the COSBO annual conference that's coming up in February that I know for sure that other student board members from all over the country are going to be attending. And I think that would be of a better benefit for Mr. Hinojosa, so that he would be able to network with other student board members that are going to be there at the conference. And it's not even sure if any Illinois delegate group is going to even be there.
So,
And so, you know.
my piece is this. I said it at the opening. We want young people involved in politics until young people get involved in politics. Mr. Hinojosa is an appointed, student board member in the same way that I've always respected the request of this board for knowing which conferences they would like to attend, knowing where they would find value. I agree, getting confirmation. I do know because of what I read is there have been pushes, which is why COSBA is doing it, which is why IASB has done it, is to increase student voice. And so, again, there are days of advocacy for students and groups. So I support it. Again, if it's this conference, or would you like to attend, based on Ms. Hannah's feedback, Mr. Hinojosa, would you prefer to maybe look at the COSBA conference, or would you prefer to keep your request in for this one?
I would say first off that I get the issues that Ms. Hannah and Ms. Lensing are bringing up when it comes to, one, if I'm allowed to go into federal buildings and stuff like that, and I get that concern. If it's a no, then what's the point of going, right? But I find it a little interesting that that's like an idea of sorts if there are students that go year after year to DC, to the Capitol building and stuff like that, and the #1 conference for this one, the last day is at the Capitol building. And if they do let students and stuff like that into the Capitol building to go see and stuff like that, I see no difference that this being the case, first off, right? Second issue is, I told Mr. Alajakis when I commented on this, and I told Ms. Lensing the board meeting prior to this in December, that this is the first time that a Board of Education here will send a student board member. And just because there is no student board members in this conference, who knows, right? We don't know for sure. This would be the first one. Just because there isn't any right now doesn't mean we can't be that first. And being able to push as the district that pushes student voice to the top tiers of our federal government is newsworthy and of the highest prestige and echelon. Being able to understand that is important. And it's not just sending me just because it's DC, right? It's fun. But at the same time, showing that we are willing to send our student board members to these conferences without putting some sort of restriction that comes last minute. Now, I'm not saying that any of the restrictions stated right now were intentional or last minute, right? Obviously, it's just concerns that may happen because this is taxpayer dollars, right? We're spending about $8,000 on it. But I do think that this conference is beneficial by creating precedent for student board members to go for this, because at the end of the day, if we're able to send me to this conference, the next student board member has an easy way and a more clear path to go into conference. May that be Q, may that be Tri, may that be the new conferences that the new organization has for NSBA, may that be through the new association that Illinois is in and stuff like that. I feel that the idea that I can't go into federal buildings is a little flawed just because students go to DC and we're sending students to college visits in March. Obviously, I imagine they will be going to the Capitol. They're not going to stop them from going to AOC's office to go knock on the door. Like, this conference will be in public spaces. They won't let us go into places like that. But at the end of the day, I will say this. Again, it's the board's decision. I understand whatever decision you guys make as you are the elected officials. But I will say this too. 14,000 students are watching, and the precedent that is made here will ricochet. May that be now or may that be for another conference. But that is my opinion on it. If we have to vote no just because of the unknown of it, that is your guys' decision. But that is my opinion on the matter.
And the thing, Mr. Hinojosa, is that it's not the activity, right, on that visit on Capitol, when we go to the Capitol and in the federal building, we're actually inside of Congress people's office.
Right.
I find that, and I get that, right? And I find that interesting because the HSDA, who are members of the DNC, are high school students who are under the age of 18 sometimes, right? And I have seen them go to DC for conferences and go to congressional offices and talk to key Democratic leaders.
That's wonderful. I'm not saying that you can't. That's not what I'm saying.
I'm saying that a more beneficial would be, there's a, you at this conference in February, there's, the student board members are actually there.
I appreciate the comment and the understanding on that topic, but at the end, my opinion still stands. Thank you for the time.
No problem. Whatever.
All right, so we do want to see if Mr. Riddle, you'd be open to amending your motion. So the recommended action is stated with after confirming Mr. Hunter Holst
So moved, yes.
able to attend.
Yes.
So that was the motion. Who was my second? I'm sorry, Ms. Gonzalez or
No, Fabian.
what is it?
No, I thought it
Was it this me? This
Who
time?
Gonzalez?
Miss Gonzalez.
Oh.
So second was Gonzalez. All right, roll
Somewhere
call.
at the end.
Miss Fabian.
Yes.
Miss Gonzalez.
Pass.
Mr. Riddle.
Yes.
Miss Hannah.
I'm going to vote no for the same reason as before, because it's an NSBA event.
Miss Lansing.
My vote is a yes. I am 100% behind our student board member
So am
getting.
I.
I'm not saying that you're not. I am 100% behind you getting the qualification or the development. My only concern is to make sure that that is allowable by this institution. So I'm very excited with the amendment. Thank you.
President Ewing.
Yes, item approved. All right, item 13C, personnel for 1/9/2024.
It is a recommendation the Board of Education accept the administration's recommendation to approve the appointments and retirement and accept the resignations as found on schedules F1002, L949, and G660.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Riddle,
Second.
second by Ms. Fabian. Any comments or questions on the motion?
So I motion to approve, but contingent on the edit of the name as a reason given.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Noted.
incorrect.
Yes.
Yeah, the motion was to approve. So do you amend it?
Yes.
So you need. So
Do we need to redo the motion, yeah?
Strike our
See, that's
motion.
why I didn't say anything.
yeah.
What do you
So a motion. Withdraw your motions, please.
Withdraw.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion.
And you withdraw yours as well?
Withdraw.
Okay, and we'd like to approve with the correction to the inadvertently inserted name under the comment section.
Okay.
Motion by Mr.
So a
Riddle.
motion now. Okay.
Second by Ms.
And
Fabian.
second to the new motion.
Any comments or questions?
No.
Roll call.
Miss Fabian.
Yes.
Miss Gonzalez.
Yes.
Mr. Riddle.
Yes.
Miss Hannah.
Yes.
Miss Lansing.
My vote is yes, and because of the content, I can't comment further aside from I expect our concerns raised during closed session be reviewed and addressed and provided to the board.
Mm-hmm.
President Ewing.
Yes. Item approved, motion carries. We're at item 16A, ratification of the first processing of the January 2024 board bills, manual check request payments, Old National Bank insurance payments for the period of December 6, 2023 through January 2nd, 2024.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Education ratify the 1st January 2024 processing of board bills, manual check request payments, and Old National Bank insurance payments for the period of December 6, 2023 through January 2nd, 2024. The accounts payable board payments for the period of December 6, 2023 through January 2nd, 2023 total $4,924,902.22. The marriage check request payments for the period of December 6, 2023 through January 2nd, 2024 total $2,979,991.24. The Old National Bank insurance payments for the period of December 6, 2023 through January 2nd, 2024 totals $2,102,740.65.
I motion to approve the recommendation.
Motion by Ms. Gonzalez.
Second.
Second by Mr. Riddle. Any comments or questions on the motion? Roll call.
Miss Fabian.
Yes.
Miss Gonzalez.
Yes.
Mr. Riddle.
Yes.
Miss Hannah.
Pass.
Miss Lansing.
Yes.
President Ewing.
Yes, item approved, motion carries. Item 16B, resolution to abate tax year 2023 levy for principal and interest on the 7 million taxable general obligation bonds, alternative revenue source series 2016.
It is a recommendation of the administration that the Board of Education adopt a resolution to abate the levy for tax year 2023 for principal and interest on 7 million taxable general obligation bonds, alternate revenue source series 2016.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Riddle,
Second.
second by Ms.
Fabian.
Fabian. Any comments or questions on the motion? Roll call.
Ms. Fabian,
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Riddle,
Yes.
Ms. Hannah,
Yes.
Ms. Lensing,
Yes.
President Ewing.
Yes, item approved, motion carries. Committee reports. I'll go just really quick. Go ahead, Ms. Gonzalez.
Oh no, you could go
Okay.
ahead. I don't know what you're going to talk about, but I'm sure it's the same thing.
Okay, so yeah, just the committee. I was able to attend the task force initial kickoff meeting at Carmen Buckner. It was a really productive conversation. We did also have a informational session at Carmen Buckner as well in the gymnasium where community was invited. I was happy to see the participation. However, I stated it there, which is why I'm stating it here. Allocating 1 hour was not an adequate amount of time in order to engage in that conversation and discussion. There will be another one that is dated towards the end of January. That information should be coming out. I know the task force meets on Thursday, so that'll be one of the things. So we want to make sure that when we're bringing the community into these spaces, that we want to make it a productive time for all involved, and we want to set the adequate time necessary in order to make sure that we can have the conversations needed. So I appreciate the kickoff and the start. I'm glad to see it continue. Don't want to lose the momentum, and I'm really proud of the efforts that the staff made, as well as I'm proud that the community showed up, which showed just how important this work actually is. All right, Ms. Fabian.
Sorry, just, and I don't know, Mr. Riddle, you might have information, but just if we can get some dates for our committee, the insurance plan board, we still haven't received any information.
Right.
And they don't meet as often, Miss Fabian, so that may just, that you want to know what they are.
We have no information.
Tomorrow.
No,
Go ahead, Mr. Riddle.
no, I don't have anything
No,
on that
okay.
either yet. They
So
have-
we'll make, who's your
have-
chair?
I believe, is it Mrs. Berry?
I think it's Mrs. Berry.
Okay.
I think it is, yeah.
I'll circle back. I made a note here.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, delegates report, Ms. Hannah.
No, don't have a delegates report except that there is a COSBO conference their annual conference coming up in February, and I would encourage board members to attend that, and although they are now COSBO, but you all need to understand that they have been the National School Board Association for as long as National School Board Association has been in existence, and they're not new people in COSBO. They're the same people, but there were issues that 30 other school districts decided to remove themselves out of that. We did get information about that from the from the Illinois State Board, and I talked personally to the president of the Illinois State Board, and he explained what it was because I was confused. And once he said what the issues were, then I am going with COSBO, okay, and that's where I'll be. But the conference is coming up in February. I sent information to the board president and superintendent, and
we have it. I think we got it too. All the board members got it, and so that's what I'm encouraging. And I'm also encouraging that is the that be the conference that our student board member attend with us.
Thank you, Ms. Adam. Superintendent's report.
I don't have anything this evening since we're just concluding first semester and coming back from break, but just want to welcome everyone back. Welcome everyone back to a new semester and welcome into 2024.
For report has been listed there for information. We have old business, which is the board policy 1105, volunteers, second reading, equity review. We did get some information, so I'll bring those forward, but do we have a all right, motion. Do we have a motion?
Yes, motion to approve.
Item 19A, Board Policy 1105, Volunteers, Second Reading, Equity Review.
Right.
So we got a motion from Mr. Riddle. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Fabian. Any comments or questions, additions, concerns?
Yeah, I had a more of a request that the actual form be linked somehow to the document or referenced, because I just want to make sure that the form is the same in every building and that it's accessible electronically, not just physically.
So I had a lot of technical questions, which I think.
Can I ask
go ahead.
a follow-up question? What form are you referencing?
The volunteer
the
form
credit.
that is referenced, I think it's like item
The
A.
application form?
Yeah, the
Yes.
application.
Okay,
There we
thank
go.
you.
So
I know it's like an extensive sorry, Ms. Fabian.
No, go
It's an extensive process because, fingerprinting and all that, but the form where it's in the, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the volunteer form, not the credit.
Yeah, the
Right,
volunteer
right, the
form.
volunteer
Yes.
form.
Yes.
That's an easy fix. We can link that.
But you're asking that to be linked where?
Linked in the item in which it's described or referenced.
In the policy document itself or available on the district website?
Both. Like, in the index, it's either, so toward the bottom of the policy,
Yeah.
like sometimes the forms or sources are referenced, usually
Right.
other policies,
Typically, we have not built those links in
Okay.
to the policy document themselves.
Mhm.
They've been made available wherever we're talking about volunteer programming on the district's website.
Yeah, can we say that it's accessible on the website?
In the policy document or as a direction from the board in moving this matter forward?
Well, that's my opinion. I don't know if the rest of the board wants to go down the line.
Are you asking that to be articulated in the policy?
Yeah,
that
that's-
it be,
Yeah.
we can draft.
Kathy, I actually think that Ms. Gonzalez idea is a good idea, because when people are reading the policy and the form there, it could just be like a hyperlink where they could take them right to the main page of the website or wherever it falls under HR. So I think that hyperlink is
I don't have a
easy
problem
do.
if that's what the board wants to start to do within their policies.
Yeah.
I think it's a good
I'd
idea.
like that
Just
idea
for the
too.
form.
Just
I
for
don't
the
know
form, because
where else the form is referenced, but.
when I read the policy, I thought it was really a nice policy. You'd revised it a lot. It was good. I liked the credit and everything, but I didn't actually have a chance to look at the form, and that was the criticism we'd heard from the community
22
members, was that the
pages.
form itself was so lengthy.
Yeah.
22.
The application form had been revised.
It has.
And I do believe we had provided that to the board members.
Okay.
I have not seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I will follow up on that.
Okay,
In
thank you.
particular.
Thank you.
And if it's the board's desire to have the volunteer application form linked in through the policy, we will figure out a way to do that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Or
please.
just like a directive of also available on our website. So, yeah,
You said hyperlink, make it easy.
Yeah,
Hyperlink.
whatever we can do. Yeah.
My only concern with the hyperlink is how often we're updating.
Yeah.
So if we do put in a hyperlink, that it's tied to somebody's job, like that if whenever that form changes, that they're going back in as part of the protocol to change that hyperlink, because we see that happen all
Right.
the time.
Yeah. But that's why it's like if it's
It
a
should
landing
be
and
page.
two-
documented.
Yeah.
Sorry, and then two, with this policy specifically, one thing I've requested in the past is if we can have our policies translated, but specifically this one, because it does speak to our family population,
Mhm.
and then if that hyperlink could have the Spanish form
Yes.
as well.
Definitely.
And then I had submitted some just questions too, and I know we don't want our policy to be restrictive or binding because times change, right?
Right.
But if we could sit, I know it says to refer to the FACE department as far as, how to figure out the credit. But then, like, who's applying that credit? So if they can, somewhere in the policy, refer to finance's role, so families know that.
So
Once they go to FACE, it's like they have to still take the step further to go to finance unless FACE is taking control of all
the
of
board has already addressed that in its policy on school fees.
Okay.
And that policy statement provides that whoever is managing the volunteer event is to give the credit information to the parents or students who are volunteering, and then it is their role to take that to the building principal. As I understand, it is the building principal who is the frontline management of school fees.
Perfect.
Okay. Good.
Sorry, clarification.
I also want to say, we are translating the policies. When the board approves it, it then gets translated, and as soon as the translated version is done, it's posted up as well.
Ms. Lindsay.
Are we looking to have these submissions in electronic format? Because I know that's been brought up before. Ms. Fabian has brought it up several times as well.
I think it's. Oh, okay. I'm gonna let you speak. I know we were talking about both.
That paper gets lost in the shuffle.
Or it's, and like my concern, the reason I'm asking this question, right, and I feel like my resolution is to explain more why I'm asking my questions, is that I would hate for it to be, put here and then I will get to that later, and then the rest of life as an administrator or whomever happens, and then it's delayed. And then the parents have to keep following up, and then it de-incentivizes.
It's more hassle than what it's worth.
Yes. So that's why I'm asking the question.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tasia Fields, Director of Equity and Inclusion, and I have Ms. Quinn Norman here, our FACE manager, that did a lot of the legwork with adjusting the policy and adjusting our the fee credit, right? And so I know today we're really focused on the language in the policy and making sure this reflects that, but I will say, just based on some of the questions that I'm hearing, we do have a very robust plan to launch the fee credit. It includes an FAQ that has links to some of the forms you all are talking about right now. We have separate forms that will use to log the credit, right? And then when it comes to Abre, we're actually looking at how we can utilize that to be a digital way to keep the credits going. So all of that is coming, and I mean, we have a video, there's a full launch, so we just got to take care of this first, and then we'll get that coming. So we do have some of those things prepared.
Perfect. So then I think just a request from the board, it sounds like we just want that launch, if you guys could send all that information ahead of time.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So that were technical questions, but are you comfortable right now with the policy as written, Ms. Fabian?
Hmm?
All right,
Yes.
roll call.
Ms. Fabian.
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Mr. Riddle.
Yes.
Ms. Hannah.
Yes.
Ms. Lindsay.
Yes.
President Ewing.
Yes, I don't approve. Motion carries. We got 19B.
About that, I asked to have that put on the other agenda, Mr.
We can carry it over. We carried it over because it was in new business last time. So I just, as a practice, me trying to be more responsive to the board. So if you don't want to discuss it tonight, that's fine. We can carry it over. But it was put there because we didn't complete the discussion at your request the last time.
And the reason I asked Mr. President to put it on student achievement was because it warrants more than a few minutes discussion, and we'll be able to discuss it more at length at a student achievement meeting.
So what I would want to do is get consensus, superintendent. So what we're looking for is kind of if we can get a report out, so that when we're having the conversation, it can be an informed one. We already have a policy that bans vaping use, right? Bans tobacco use, but there were technical changes, or actually no, substantial changes to the law Is that correct, Ms. Hannah, as of January 1st?
Yes.
Right. So what Ms. Hannah wants to do is ensure that we are up to date with the current changes. So, that's a Kathy takeaway for legal, to make sure that we're updated. And then superintendent, can we kind of get maybe the data as it relates to the number of suspensions or in school and out of school related to I guess being under the substance, because I want to include alcohol and vaping in that.
Yeah, but I don't think you're gonna get. It's gonna be skewed. I believe, Mr. Ewing, because the vaping is not being recorded.
So it may be skewed, but we got to start having a conversation from somewhere, because we can't stop it. Or are you saying that you want the conversation to be based on how we better track?
I want us to start talking about some type of strategy that we are going to implement, particularly in the middle schools and the high schools, to alleviate this. Because if we don't, we are in violation of the law.
So that's where I always say is when we have the conversation is I want to make sure first to give the administration the opportunity to present to the board what it is that they're doing, right? Because do we have a plan or something? I know we instituted the vape alarms and other things,
right?
But when you're out, and that's why I want to help you, superintendent, and I'm trying to help Ms. Hannah to get what it is that we're looking for.
So student achievement, we had not a shortened, but we had a records day yesterday. We kind of have a short week, and then we have a shortened week next week. Since I have to pull the data and we're preparing for student achievement next week, can I circle back to ensure that we can have this all ready for next Tuesday? If I can't, can you give us more time to the following meeting?
And
I'm also a little unsure of what is the ask. So what I'm hearing is that we want to look at discipline data around students who are caught either smoking or vaping in schools. But that's what I'm hearing right now. So
no, ma'am. And we know that it's happening. Okay, we have. We know that it's happening, and what I want to see is how we are and what are we doing to stop it in our schools. And and I've heard stories that that they're not doing anything to stop the smoking in our schools, even though we already have a policy. There's no smoking. There's no smoking on school grounds. There's no smoking, but it still is happening. So I'm asking, and because of this new law that became effective January 1st, that vaping is prohibited in public places. We are a public place as well. And so for the benefit of students, the staff, teachers complaining, everybody, and we need to have a plan of what we're going to do, how we're going to attack this.
So that's the ask, right? And I see two hands. I'm sorry. I'm trying to hone in on that point of what the ask is. Is that was part of the discussion. Is the policy currently bans it? So it's not a policy discussion. So what it is a practice discussion. So
Yes.
superintendent, can you start to prepare a presentation how we are addressing tobacco and marijuana usage in District 60 at both the middle and high school level?
And vaping,
which is tobacco usage.
No,
But marijuana as well.
Marijuana too.
Marijuana and tobacco
Absolutely.
usage. Yes.
Got it.
Absolutely.
Miss Lindsay.
Any questions?
And then Miss Fabio.
I do think, thank you for bringing up the data around that, because it just gives everyone the same language or the same understanding of where we are at to help strategize where we need to go. And in speaking with some district staff members, suspensions, to Ms. Hannah's point, aren't going to be an accurate reflection.
Right.
We have those sensors in the bathrooms. Do we get reports about how many times they go off? So instead of but in tandem, can we also use that data element as well? Because then that would at least give us frequency. It's not going to tell us who's doing it. It's not going
Right.
to give us those pieces, but
Yeah,
it
we
just
know.
gives us an understanding of frequency.
Yeah, we know. I mean, right now at this point, it's not. It doesn't matter who's doing it.
Well,
it matters that it's being done.
Yeah, and I'll save this comment for when we talk about it, but I do agree we should have it during a student achievement meeting because there are a lot of voices that want to be heard on
Absolutely.
this with regard to even just staff members at the school level, because whatever we decide as a board, if we're updating policy, what have you, it's going to impact them because they're the ones that have to be the enforcers of it.
Absolutely.
That's all I had to say.
Ms. Fabian?
So I did want to reiterate what Ms. Lensing said. I think in order for you to have a goal and a strategy, you need a benchmark.
Yep.
So I would like to also see the data, and I know that we can pull up behavior reports to see specifically smoking as one of the reasons that children are being disciplined. And that'll also give us a data point. Is one building, percentage-wise higher than another? And those that have a low percentage, are they doing better strategies or not? Within your plan, can we also have what we've done in the past beyond the new sensors? Because I have seen where our high school has put out parent workshops so that parents can understand what vapes are and how to find them and locate them. So if we can have a list of also what's been done and how successful was that, right? Did we get parent participation? If there's any other support that they need from the board as well. So I would like to see a couple of different things in that presentation.
So what the superintendent is saying is that with the timeline presented and the information requested, that's not going to be ready for Tuesday. And if the request is that it's brought back at a student achievement specifically, that's moving that to February. Keep in mind that February will also be typically where we review middle of year data.
We can't roll this beyond February.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I apologize.
I didn't say roll it beyond February. I'm letting
No,
you
I
guys
know.
know it will be a long meeting if you want to have an extensive discussion and we want to see middle of year data, right?
I apologize. I spoke out of turn.
No, you're good.
Right, and I don't think we should take away from your time to present the academic data. I don't think we should do that, but this is a needed conversation.
Agreed.
So
I'm
maybe
talking
a
timeline.
forum, like a town hall?
And honestly, I hate to say it. No, I don't hate to say it. It's committee work, right?
Yeah.
And so I think there has to be a recommend. This is something that's important, and I'm all for giving it. I think that's why I wanted to let's just get a level set. Because the actual it's not a policy conversation, right?
No.
And so this is committee work, so I can see it in the health committee. What is it?
Wellness.
Or PTAC. Wellness or PTAC, right? And so that's to me where it lives. But if we want to have an initial conversation, we just got to talk dates. That's all I'm letting everybody know.
It won't be done in one day.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be solved in one day.
I would
Mr.
say,
Riddle down there.
sorry, one more. I apologize, Ms. Riddle, very deeply. I would say in addition to the schools talking to parents about how to identify, we also have to come to terms with the reality that parents are also using these products as well. So in my mind, it should also be how you can store them securely away from your students. And again, that gets into the weeds of things. But as we're framing our heads around this initial discussion to possibly put back to the committee, that's something that I want on people's radar. Thank you. I apologize.
Don't worry, Ms. Riddle.
Yes, my only comment is that I think both these policies, 4203 and 6045, need to be modified starting right from the title, because they both say tobacco use prohibition, and I think we need to say in there very clearly so people can recognize immediately what we're talking about. You have to read through this policy to get down to where it says vaping.
Right.
So you need to say tobacco vaping use prohibited. Right
Well,
away.
and other illegals.
And on both policies. And then you need to further state, include marijuana in here as well in the tobacco, because you've got tobacco and students are going to say, well, I'm vaping, but I'm only, I'm not using tobacco at all. So I think we should, these policies both need to be just modified to include.
And we can talk about that. Thank
Yeah,
you, Mr.
so,
Riddle,
yeah,
for
just
that.
to clarify what it is,
Yeah.
so you don't have to read through the whole thing to, get down to where you, I can't use
Right.
vapes either, and I can't use marijuana?
Yeah.
So I really think, honestly, from a board member and board ties committee work, there are two committees in which it could live. I think wellness, and I also think PTAC. And then it can be a formal recommendation that's actually brought to
Well,
the
no,
board.
I appreciate that, and I am on the wellness committee, and we've already talked about,
Yes, we
we've
have.
already talked about tobacco use and everything in our committee. Okay, we've already done that.
So what's the so let's then
I
maybe
want
bring the
us as a
recommendation.
board. No, I want us as a board to talk about this
Okay.
and direct the administration to come up with a plan so that we could alleviate the smoking, the tobacco products, the marijuana, the vaping in our schools.
Yeah, I don't, and I go back to I don't want to have that argument. I think we all agree that vaping is bad. I don't know if we need a public conversation.
We do, because there's
Okay,
public
so
voices.
it's fine then.
Their
So we'll
teachers
bring it
wanna
back.
talk about this.
They can do that at the committee
President
level,
Ewing?
Yeah.
right?
No,
So
they can't. They're not at the committee.
We
they're invited. It's okay.
Oh, you mean the committee?
Any committee. I mean, if we do it at the PTAC is not
Whoever
closed
wants
to
to
committee
join,
members,
joins.
right?
No.
So again, it's okay.
President Ewing?
Go ahead, Mr. Hinojosa.
No, I was just going to say very quickly that I appreciate Ms. Hannah bringing this up because it is a very important topic to discuss. And I will go back to Mr. Riddle's point about students going and finding loopholes, because I know many people that I've known going through stuff like this and saying, well, it's not saying marijuana, it's saying this, this, and this.
That's right.
And I am in this high school. I see students vaping in the bathrooms. Like, I will be serious with y'all. I have seen it happen, and I just walk out. That's what happens, right? And just seeing that happen and being an advocate for not smoking at all at this age, and I'll say it to the camera too, y'all shouldn't be smoking in the first place, right? But other than that point, right? And I am part of this generation in understanding that this is not healthy, this is not beneficial, this is not doing anything for you. And I've told friends that have done this, or friends in the past, this is not going to help you at all, and you know it deep down. But I feel like this conversation should be a big one that really brings in all stakeholders, public, may that be students, especially the students, and parents and students. I feel is the major one that really brings this forward, right? Because it's a home issue, it is a school issue, it is a social issue, it's social economic, it's everything combined, and it's complicated. I know it's complicated. Like, let's not say that it's not. But taking these small steps is important, and bringing students into the fold is quite essential to bring something forward. May that be policy, may that be conversation, whatever it is at the end of the days. It doesn't matter what it is, just that we bring something up. And I feel that as the student board member representing these students, I can say that many students do want something change, maybe even the Halo machines, because some of them, I will say this also right now, that they don't really work well, because I have stories, I have anecdotes where students walk in and it just beeps for no reason. Now, how does that data translate? Who knows, right? That is administration, how that's pushed forward, right? But I appreciate Ms. Hannah bringing that forward, and board for bringing this topic up.
Thank you, Mr. Hinojosa.
So to me, I hear two different asks, and I don't know if you guys are understanding it the same way. One is, as a board, reviewing the policy that we have currently to retitle, reframe, rename, and I think that should be something that we do. But two, to Mr. Hinojosa's point, if you want to get student voice, community voice, and Ms. Hannah's point, if you want to get a deep dialogue, I don't know if it belongs just in a one-night student achievement meeting. You're not going to have that support versus if we do like an open forum and a specific time and date allocated where we actually put aside an hour or two to have that deep dive, and we're actually reaching out to the community for that specific conversation.
Sorry, can we have forums with all 7 board members, or do we have to have a special meeting solely specific to this?
We have to notice it, right? And
Okay.
that they'll be
Just want to make sure we're following.
and that's the piece why I said it could work as committee work, right? I'm not saying that the conversation is not important. I'm saying that this board has told me as the board president that our meetings are too long. This agenda was short. It's 9 p.m. Again, I'm just talking facts and time. Not that this is not important. Not that this is not critical. And who does the work lie with? So we all agree that the work, unless now we say it is a policy conversation, that's board work. So we can bring forward a policy. But as far as the actual implementation of policy, that's staff work.
Right.
And so they should be presenting to the board what it is that they're doing. So all I want to do is be respectful of everybody's time and make sure that the appropriate work sits with the appropriate parties. So that's all I was trying to do.
Well, my
But
thing
Ms.
is
Hannah's
like-
asking for it to be a discussion, and now the hour is 9, and I know I feel myself just kind of, and it's okay. We can have it. We don't have to have it tonight. Ms. Hannah asked for it to be at a student achievement meeting. We can talk about the best forum for it to be discussed. Mr. Riddle.
Yeah, just let me hit again. I think Ms. Fabian hit it right on the head. I think our board work is to do these two policies and to revise them. Right, the way they read right now is just way too calm. It's just talking about tobacco use, and that by the way it mentions it. So I think the policies need revision. We need to state in the policy this is serious stuff, and what the consequences will be to include counseling and parental involvement and stuff like that. So the policies need revision, both of them. But I don't think we need to get into the weeds and decide what's going to get done. That's just as the board president said, that's going to be for the administration to figure out, have their meetings with parents and staff and students and figure out how they're going to deal with this problem. It is a very, very serious problem, as our student board member says. Thank you.
And with all due respect, board members, I am not asking to get in a meeting and tell the administration what to do. That's not what I am asking. I know that we don't do that. What I am asking is that it is talked about and discussed, and we need to hear all voices. And we have teachers, we have other staff that wants to talk about this stuff. And so why can't we have, I mean, I agree, a town hall meeting.
Ms. Hannah,
I
can I,
get that.
can I help?
But
I don't think we're listening to each other. I think it's 9 o'clock. And
I think I
at
can
this
help
point,
you.
it's fine.
Yeah, I'll circle back with you. I have an idea. If that's
Yeah,
okay,
because-
can I
but
circle back with you
It
tomorrow?
needs to be done, Superintendent.
I hear you, Miss Hannah. I'll circle back with you. I have a good idea, but I even have a way of how we can inform parents. But I'll circle back with you tomorrow if you don't
So,
mind. I'll give you a
I
call.
will look forward to it.
Irrespective of how the board this proceeds, the student policies are part of student discipline. They require PTAC review and involvement. So that needs to be built into the process,
Well,
please.
PTAC can be at the meeting too. Because everybody's voice need to be heard, because this is affecting, this is affecting not only students, staff, but it's also becoming, if we are not adhering to the law, okay, as a school district, by curtailing this, stopping it, doing something, because Mr. Hinojosa, it's going on, right?
Yes.
Every day, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And if it continues to go, we are in violation of a law.
I have a comment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of offer up and also do a little bit of a call-in to the rest of the board and say that maybe I understand like the passion behind this issue, and I think it's already been stated that it is a health concern for our students. I don't think it's particularly bad. I think this is a symptom of bigger issues. But I think it's a responsibility for us as a board to attend the workshops that are going on when the schools are hosting them. As far as I know, I was the only board member at the NACASA deep dive when it came to the vaping issue at Washington, and I understand that people can't be everywhere all at once. But you know, part of the strategy is being there, right? And being present, and also hearing what parents have as concerns, which I know that we do on the side. And I also want to reiterate that, and board president already mentioned it, that some work is board work and some work is staff work. And I think the way that we also support staff work is by being at the table when it comes to our board reprimands. A lot of our students get in trouble because they are repeat offenders in terms of, you know, vaping, smoking. And I know that some of those students need those meetings to happen. So that is also a strategy so that we don't kick them out of the schools. But I did want to ask if Enity Rivera and LaTanya Burton were here, because if we're going to, you know,
They
induct
are
them.
not here
Okay,
this evening.
okay. Yeah, I just wanted to be mindful if they were here.
Yeah, no, they're not here this evening. Their appointments have expired, so I would ask that this proceed. If
Yeah.
we can bring them back at another time to take the oath, but they are still under their prior oath.
Okay.
And are they, because of that, are they, are there any other candidates to be put on the ethics commission? And there's just, I have some concerns about one of them.
There was an inquiry made as to whether, to the board president and superintendent, if they supported their renewal. If you want to open it up, then we'll take those names, I suppose, and we'll open that up.
Yeah.
But we did put the offer out to them, and they did both accept.
Yeah, because they're on there now, you know, I mean, they don't do anything, but there's just concern that I have
So-
about one that I will probably give you a call tomorrow and talk to you about.
So
Can I-
do we want to, go ahead.
I just have a question around this.
Go ahead, Ms.
So when we have these appointments, are we reviewing or assessing their contributions in this role, and if it's a good fit?
So there haven't been any complaints that have come forward that they have acted upon. It requires a written complaint to come forward, and it is limited to prohibited political activities or violation of the Gift Ban Act.
Right.
So there is, we did have a presentation that Ms. Rivera participated in this year with the administration on the principles of the Gift Ban Act, and I believe that was positively received by the administration.
Okay.
So just to clarify, and to Ms. Lindsay's point, so what, and you don't have to share, Ms. Hannah, but is the complaint about their nomination or
One
something?
of them.
One of them? So then, is that not a formal complaint?
Oh, no, no,
No,
no,
to-
no, no.
Oh,
No, no,
okay.
no, a concern, actually, not a complaint.
got it, okay. I just wanted to know if we were holding this over or not. We're
No,
moving
no,
forward, okay.
No.
Okay,
No.
okay. Just want to make sure.
So we're not. So we are voting on it tonight. So
Yeah.
you, Ms. Hannah, are saying that you have.
No, I'm
concerns.
just gonna talk to, because, Kathy, aren't you the head of the Ethics Commission?
I'm the district's ethics officer. I'm not the head of the commission itself. I support the commission when a complaint comes in.
Oh, I thought you were in charge because there were complaints that came in that you denied to go to the commission.
Because they didn't trigger the Gift Ban Act or the prohibited political activities.
Do we have a motion to approve the reappointments?
I motion to approve.
I'll second.
Prior to appointing, I'm just looking at that the misspelling is still there. They have Miss Kennedy
Okay, yeah.
instead of, her name is Enity Rivera.
Yes.
So if that could be changed to Miss Rivera.
Yeah, her name
Okay.
is Enity.
The second paragraph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's correct though.
No, it's correct. I just want to make it clear that we're talking about Ms. Rivera has been in the capacity since December of 2009.
Mhm.
Apologies, I thought I caught all those.
Roll call.
Ms. Fabian?
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Riddle?
Yes.
Ms. Hannah?
Yes.
Ms. Lansing?
Yes.
President Ewing?
Yes, item approved, motion carries. Board member time. Ms. Gonzalez.
Happy New Year, everybody. I'm sorry I couldn't make some of the events. I totally respect some of the comments. And I wish I could have been to more events this past holiday season. But my goal this year is to go to more community events and to go to more sports games. That's my resolution. Go ahead.
Okay. Happy New Year, everyone. Also, want to congratulate two of our Waukegan High School students, Gustavo Astudillo and Evelyn Burgos, who were recently selected to participate in the prestigious Illinois Music Education Association, the All-State Concert. So both of those students will be performing in Peoria. Gustavo is going to be in the Jazz Night All-State Concert, January 26th in Peoria Civic Center. And Evelyn will be at the All-State Chorus concert January 27th in Peoria at the Civic Center. So congratulations to both of those students. A job well-deserved and represent Waukegan truly great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Riddle. Ms. Hannah.
I have a, okay, number one, I want to say that, I don't want to reiterate anything. Okay, I am wondering, Superintendent, and could you, I ask that you take note of this, because I got a call today from a family concerned about their student being removed from school. And I didn't know that that removing a student completely from school could happen unless it came before the board. And I didn't know that we remove students from attending school for attendance. And so I think that needs to be looked into to see if that is actually happening, and if the administration is removing students from out of school, particularly at the high school level. And also, I attended the basketball game, but I also attended the Hall of Fame induction, and I was just kind of confused because with the Hall of Fame inductions, they were all Waukegan athletes past, and there were no there was no one there aside from the athletic director to represent the school district. And it was kind of embarrassing that we allowed the mayor of the city to give our athletes that, you know, made their names and stuff through Waukegan, okay, over all of the decades and stuff, and they're going into the Hall of Fame, right? But we weren't there. And if people that were there,
We were there.
no, wait
We
a
were in the
minute.
stands.
Yeah, you were in the stands. We should have been on the floor. That's our house. And that's board protocol. That's what I know. Okay, and that if you all are wondering why I went out there, was because we needed to be out there on that floor when they were inducting our Waukegan athletes, and not the mayor of Waukegan. Okay, she's not inducting them. They're not going they're going into our Hall of Fame. And so that's why I went out there. And, you know, we shouldn't have been in the stands. We should have been out there on the floor. So, but other than that, welcome back, everybody. And I'm hoping and praying for a better year, 2024.
Can I just add to Ms. Hannah's comment? Maybe we need to have a conversation with the athletic director, because I did see the actual certificate that they gave out to the individuals, and it is a proclamation that's signed by the city, given by the city. So I don't know if that's a potential agreement that we have with them. So I think that might be another, you know, board ask to review if that's what the board
Thank
votes
you for saying that, Ms. Fabian, because I did not know that.
It has the city logo on it.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to add.
I did say it wasn't important.
Happy Martin Luther King Day to those celebrating. So the kids, I'm sure, are happy they get 2 4-day weeks back to back. But I do hope that people go out and celebrate by continuing to do community service. There is an event put on by the township that's very lovely every year, and I always have to miss it, but this year I plan to go. So it'll be January 15th at 10 a.m., and tickets are still available through the township. And then there is another event. There's a town hall January 11th from 6 to 7:30 at Cristo Rey, and our House representative and our senator will be there. So I think when we're talking about community issues, these are the places that we should be attending. So I hope, Victor, if you need a ride, I'll help you out. We can go to that. And then thank you to my fellow foundation members for agreeing to plunge with us. We actually got Nick in the water, so that was a lot of fun, but it really does go to support special recreations, which many of our students also participate in. So wherever the foundation can support other organizations that support our kids, we're more than happy to do so.
Ms. Lindsay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We
Miss
skipped somebody.
Lindsay.
Yay! Yeah, I want to thank Mr. Edwards for speaking tonight. I've had personal complications that kept me from certain events, but it is something that I, like Ms. Gonzalez, is going to try to ensure that I'm at as many events as possible, because the community does need to see that we support them. We can say it up here all day long, but, you know, presence is power. So thank you for that reminder. With the Black Male Achievement Initiative meeting that was at Carmen, the school looked great for the holidays. It was inclusive for all of the different celebrations that happen in the winter, so that was beautiful to see. The leadership there so heavily involved with that. I was thankful that people came authentically and spoke their mind and really told it how it was. And we need to have those brave conversations around that. Sorry. I had a couple of other things, but I'll just make it brief. I know there have been staff members asking for updates with regard to the HR reviews that have it going on. So if we can just get that information out to ease people's anxieties on when they can anticipate that conversation or information to come forward, that would be helpful. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. Happy New Year. Just like I said at the start of the year, we can say it again every day, but especially at the start of the new year. How we receive our students is very important. How we talk about our students is extremely important. How we engage and interact and build those relationships, again, important. So when we're thinking about our student population, interacting with them, they are great. They are great kids. And we have to remember that they are kids, and we are here to help shepherd them onto supporting them to achieve their dreams. So as you're back in that classroom, happy first day with the students. I'm very thankful that this district gives Monday to teachers to kind of reorient after break to get in the mindset. But just make sure that your interactions with your students are positive and your words about your students are positive. It's going to take us so much further. So thank you for everyone coming back. I am excited for a start to the new year in the second semester.
Thank you, Ms. Lindsay. And Superintendent, you had an announcement.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a big shout out. We have some community members, Coach Bone and Coach Sheed, who's taking a number of boys from Lake County, but a great number of kids from Waukegan Public Schools. They're going to be the first time ever in an All-American football tournament where they will get ranked nationally. And we have kids from 9 years old all the way up to 13 years old. This is a great big thing. Their send-off is on Thursday, I believe at 8 o'clock in North Chicago High School. They have the buses, horns are blowing, and these kids are going to be headed to North Carolina to bring this victory home. I will be attending and help chaperoning as much as I can some of the boys out there this weekend. But I just want to thank Coach Bone and Coach Sheed for all they do for the Waukegan community, the North Chicago community, but bringing these boys together in Lake County to represent Lake County and bringing good hope and sportsmanship, but most of all, unifying these boys so that they can make connections outside of the communities they live in.
My only comments will be brief. I want to thank everybody again for coming out. I want to thank each of the board members. I want to say when we talk about why we do this work, we saw it demonstrated with the JAMS program and all the other things. My first official job was the STARS program. I'm a product of Waukegan Public Schools. I've been involved in this district my entire life. I'm raising kids here, as many of us have done, are doing, and will do. And so it saddens me the amount of toxicity that exists because I've always known this to be a place of love for me. And so what I really want to focus on as we talk about resolutions, Mr. Hinojosa, is bringing back the love, bringing back the joy, and bringing back the community. Is because I don't want to feel that I'm always under attack or that others on this board or in this district feel as if they're under attack. So if I've contributed to that in any way, I apologize. And the only person that I can be accountable to is to me. And so I say that publicly to the Board of Education as well as to the community, is that my commitment is foremost to our students, and secondly to help to restore and rebuild relationships. It's because we haven't done a good job of that in this district. It does take two to tango, and I will continue to do my part. With that, I'd like a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Gonzalez, second by Ms. Fabian. All in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Meeting is adjourned. Good night.